All right, guys, let's take a quick look at AR buffers. Does it matter which one you run? Let's take a look. All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. We're going to be taking a look at buffers. Now, these are the standard buffers. They have a loose, set of weights in there. You can replace these weights with heavier weights to make it an H2 or an H3 or whatever buffer, right? But these are your standard AR buffers. These are like a 3-ounce buffer. I laid all these out here so you can see that they're different colors. They're different, end caps, but these are all the same weight. These are all 3-ounce buffers. Compare that to, say, these are 9mm buffers. This is a solid buffer. There's nothing shaking inside there. That's a solid buffer. I want to say that's like a 5-ounce buffer. And then, compare that to, say, this heavier one here. This is like an 8 or like an 8.6-ounce buffer or something like this. Again, solid buffer. There's nothing shaking around or moving around in there. And then, of course, this is your AR-10 or your 308 buffer. Obviously, note how much shorter that one is. Now, compare the standard, AR-15 buffer to your 9mm buffer. They're the same length. Why is that important to note here? Technically, you could run a standard buffer in your 9mm or your 40 caliber or your 45, but man, that thing is going to be recoiling. It's going to kick pretty hard. So you're going to want to get a heavier buffer, guys. Get one of these, 5-ounce buffers or 6.6-ounce buffers or 8-ounce buffers or something like this. That's going to help you quite a bit as far as managing recoil and things like that. So just wanted to point that out here. And then obviously here's the, comparison between like a standard AR-15 buffer and spring and then like a standard AR-10 buffer and spring. You can obviously see the difference in length between the buffers as well as the difference in the springs. Certainly you don't want to interchange these two. They're not going to operate well if you do. And then that takes us to this kind of a buffer. This is like your silent buffer. They call it an SBA buffer, a silent buffer assembly. Now they have two kinds with this company anyway, Trinity Force. They have two kinds, a 308 SBA and then a standard AR-15 SBA. I believe they're both considered an H2, so it's a little bit heavier buffer. I wanted to really see what the difference was between the two because they look really identical, at least in the package. It looks like the main difference between the two is going to be the weight, and then it looks like definitely the spring color is going to be a little bit different and a few other things as I'll show here, but let's take a look. So here's the 308 one out of the package. You can see it's a pretty basic system. This replaces both the buffer and the spring, and it's all contained in one unit. The main benefit from this is that it's mostly a silent system. Like when you put it in and you action the gun, you're still going to hear some, noise from like the trigger assembly and the bolt carrier group, but a lot of the scraping and the sound that you get from the buffer and the buffer tube, that goes away with this type of setup. I hold these up here because I just want to show you the difference between the 308s and the standard AR-15. Main difference is the cup for the AR-10 is a little bit smaller compared to the AR-15. Little different colored spring. The AR-10 has a silver spring compared to a black spring. And then if you'll notice, the AR-10 one has a number 1 down here on the cup compared to a number 2 on the cup for the AR-15. So anyway, pay attention to these buffer guys. It makes a big difference when you're shooting, how controllable, how manageable these firearms are. Just wanted to share this with you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good one.